Have you ever noticed that everything Donald Trump touches turns to a big pile of steaming shit? It doesn't matter if we're talking about the economy, foreign policy, domestic policy, even something so simple as manners. It goes from being thriving and robust to a big stinking pile of caca. That was the case this weekend with the Ryder's Cup. I don't know if you're familiar with the Ryder's Cup, but it's a golfing competition between American golfers and European golfers. Some years it's held in the United States, some years it's held in Europe. Some years the Americans win, some years the Europeans win. Now, there's always been a bit of ribbing and jeering and cheering that goes on at the Ryder's Cup, but this year it was totally out of control. Fans behaved in an absolutely disgusting manner. They were shouting and screaming, yelling foul language, cursing. As European golfers were lining up to putt, they were screaming during the putts. At one point, one of them threw a drink at the wife of European golfer Rory McIlroy and hit her in the head. Later, McIlroy would blame Trump culture for the obnoxious behavior of Americans. Listen to this clip.
I'm absolutely fed up with those American fans who've been corrupted by Trump. At the Ryder Cup, it wasn't just taunting. They completely abandoned basic etiquette. Security had to kick people out, and the match was even delayed for 2 hours because of Trump's grandstanding. This is not the kind of chaos that belongs in sports. Trump confuses rudeness with courage and shouting with patriotism, and the result is these fans turning the golf course into a rally.
I'd like to apologize to the European golfers for the treatment they received at the hands of drunken Americans. It's totally unacceptable. It isn't something that most Americans go along with. What a shameful episode in American conduct. How embarrassing.
So that's what we got for American farmers, is zero empathy. We want them to fail. That's what you're saying out there. That's what Americans are saying right now is well, next time go vote the right way, or that's what you get for who you voted for. That, to me, I want to say it doesn't sound very American of people, but here lately, that's all we're doing is complaining. The last thing I want is an American business to fail. I don't know how much more we're going to see for the next 3 or 4 years. Last thing I want is an American farmer to go under, because us as Americans didn't want to do anything to support them. I don't care what side of the fence you're sitting on in this. The last thing we need is our land to be gobbled up by our corporate people to lease it out to another country so that they can come in and do what they want on the soil. Think about it, people.
For decades, we've been told that we can't feed kids free lunch because that's socialism. We've been told that we can't give partial credit towards college scammy loans because that's socialism. We can't have universal health care. Your Nana can't get the cancer treatment that she needs because Medicare for all would be socialism. We can't feed and help the homeless because of socialism. Everything that doesn't benefit you is socialism. We've been hearing this about everything that would be good for society for decades. And the second that you need a helping hand, it's a necessary thing. It's not just, guys, this is actually good for everybody. That's why I need that money. I voted for you. You voted against me. I voted so that you could stay in business and get the help you needed. You voted to hurt people that didn't look like you. And that's why I hope you have the day that you voted for. And I hope you get everything you voted for that we told you was going to happen. This is the America you wanted. You said it's not very American. You voted for this. You voted for this, and now you're getting what you voted for. And I'm sorry that you're not smart enough to have actually looked into what we told you was going to happen. Have the day you voted for.
My head's about to fucking explode. If I have to listen to one more person fucking whine, one more fucking Trump voter bitching to me about the cost of food in Walmarts, I'm gonna fucking die. I just had to listen to these two fucking idiots wearing a MAGA hat. Both of them. Mr. and Mrs. Inbred. Whining like bitches over the cost of food. You should have heard him. He couldn't believe it. And I couldn't resist saying, damn, this place is fucking outrageous now, right? It's crazy. And he said, this is what he said. He said, you know what? President's policies are kicking in soon. you'll get some relief, son. That's what he said to me. That's how deep these fucking people are in the cult. In the fucking grocery store, while at the same time broke as fuck. He's got his little fucking Georgia card there for food and shit. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. And they still defend him. I guess to undefend him would show how fucking stupid you really were in the first place, I guess. You know, I just thought that shit. You know you're getting fucked at Walmart's. You know the tariffs are screwing you. You know Walmart told Trump to suck on it. So now what? We're paying it 40 to 70% more on fucking everything. But y'all are feeling that. So yeah, along with the two Mr. Pa and Ma Kettle in there. I gotta go. I'm fucking having a stroke over this bill.
So I just saw a video of a farmer in Florida who states that Donald Trump is the best president in his lifetime and that he supports Ron DeSantis 100%, but he's begging these migrant workers, these undocumented workers, to not leave because he's going bankrupt. All these farmers are going bankrupt. All these contractors are going bankrupt because everybody's left. Because this law that they just passed makes it illegal. Like if I'm working with someone who's undocumented and I'm giving them a ride home and get pulled over, I can get arrested. Not just can they get sent back, they can arrest me. And then the farmers are trying to say, oh, it's been misread and it's been lied to in the press and don't believe it. They're panicking big time. They have fucked around and they are in the find out stage. And I just think it is it's beautiful. It's delicious. It's just chef's kiss. Just seeing how this farmer panic and seeing him trying to talk to, he'd say something and then the interpreter would repeat it. And the things this guy was saying are not the kind of things that are going to keep undocumented workers here. There's plenty of work for them wherever they want to go. There are a lot of jobs that Americans don't want to do that undocumented workers can get. And there are a lot of places where they're appreciated instead of persecuted. So I just think it's hilarious that they're finding out now that there's going to be some serious consequences to this. And wait till you find out what tomatoes are going to cost in 6 months. R.T. Gargiulo has a huge tomato. Most of the tomatoes in the United States are grown in Southwest Florida. And they have a huge tomato operation there. And they don't have any workers. And it's going to be bad. There's literally strawberries and things like that rotting on the vine or on the plant. They can't get anyone to come and work. They got what's coming to them, and I just think it's beautiful. I hope it bankrupts them. I hope it bankrupts every goddamn one of them. Every single right-wing rich guy that supported all this hateful stuff, supported all this anti-trans stuff in this fight with Disney. I'm just loving this. And I'm loving, it's going to be great because in about 6 months, this is really going to hit. And that's just when Ron DeSantis is going to be really trying to hit the campaign trail. Enjoy your finding out, Ron. You're going to find out a lot.
All I can say, I was a dumbass, voted for Trump only because of my beliefs. People around me encouraged it. I can think for myself, yes. But I felt at the time that was the better choice. Now I'm looking at it with everything going on. It was the worst decision I ever made. I wanted not to vote. But people said you won't be able to have a say in anything if you don't vote. I totally regret this. I shouldn't have voted at all.
As a person that never was a slave, deserve compensation from a person that never owned a slave.
The fact that this question is coming from a person of color makes this all the more despicable. But since you've shown the world how little you know about history and finances in this country, let me help you out just a little bit. And you don't need a college education to know this, maybe high school at the very least. You ready? The same way that generational wealth can be passed down through generations, generational debt can also be passed down through generations. If the descendants of slave owners who created these multi-billion-dollar financial institutions off of the free, back-breaking, unending 4 centuries, 12 to 16 generations of chattel slavery is still benefiting from that wealth today in 2025, then why shouldn't the descendants of those slaves be able to have the debt paid to them that was never paid to their ancestors? It doesn't matter if the people now didn't own the slaves. What matters is that they are still benefiting from the wealth that was created because of those slaves who were never paid. Do you understand that? This is not rocket science, my friend. It's common sense, and clearly you're showing the world that you're void of it. And I'm not really sure what you're hoping to get out of this, but if you think your pandering, pick-me-ass behavior is going to get those same descendants of that generational wealth to give you a few dollars, then you have truly lost your mind. You will never be picked. You will never be in the situation that black people are in today to be owed that generational debt. Because your ancestors, unless you are the descendants of African slaves, did not survive these horrific atrocities.
When a lot of Christians are asked where was God during slavery, most of them deflect from the question. But I can tell you where God was during slavery. God was inside of the people looking outside for God. And that's why I truly believe they introduced this idea of an external God to slaves so that they can look outward for the power. Because had they realized they were God, they could have easily ran over the plantation and called that shit a day. And that's why I say Christianity was a hell of a witchcraft ritual put on black people, because we still have people living in that illusion today. You know why Harriet Tubman was able to escape? Because she wasn't waiting on no savior. She knew it was her power and her divine right, and she took her freedom. She even spoke about how she had to leave some of the scared slaves behind because they were too scared. Nat Turner, you think he was waiting on a savior or an external God? No, he led a whole rebellion because he believed that he deserved to be free. He knew that it was in his power to lead that shit. And the cycle is repeating today because we still have people who are under the mind control of Christianity, and we have those of us who are leaving and paving our own way. And just like Harriet, we're going to have to leave some people behind. It's just what it is. Some people are just in too deep, and taking that communion ritual, it just don't help them. So, we're going to have to leave some people behind. The rest of us, we just got to pave our own way and move forward in our own movement.
So you really thought slavery ended in 1865? Be so for real. Slavery continued well into the 60s for black Americans under something called peonage. Let's get into it. And before you get upset with me, you can research it yourself. These are not my personal opinions. These are fact. Slavery was abolished with the 13th Amendment, yes, but there is a clause that states it's illegal except for punishment of a crime. So you already know what happened next. Black people got arrested for anything. Vagrancy, not having a job, talking back, you name it. They were leased to plantations, railroad, and mines under something called convict leasing. And even folks that weren't arrested got trapped into the system of peonage. A white landowner or a farm owner could say, hey, you owe me for that mule I let you borrow, or that tool I let you use. And next thing you know, you're trapped in this endless debt, and every time you think you've paid it off, the bar has been moved a little bit further, and it's another year on the farm. And this was happening throughout the 1900s up until the 60s, especially in places like Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. Some people were even born into this debt slavery system and never escaped from it. It took federal investigations like the 1940s Department of Justice busts, and even then, it still kept going underground into the 60s. Rebranded slavery is what it was giving. So yeah, if anyone says that slavery ended, sure babe, but we know the truth. It's just been rebranded as something else. Convict leasing, sharecropping, peonage. It's just under a different name. As always, follow me on IG and You of the Tube under the same username, The Controversial Blonde. And I promise I'll get back to posting regularly again.
I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to keep saying it for you dumbasses. I'm going to keep it plain and simple this time. Slavery is still alive in the United States of America. I keep on telling y'all that, and y'all keep on telling me I'm tripping. Now, if it's under this administration or any other administration, it doesn't matter about the people in office. I'm going to tell you what's happening. I just seen a video of some Haitians in the field picking string beans, right? They do this with Haitians. They do this with Mexicans. They do this with South Americans, Central Americans. It doesn't matter. When immigrants come here, they get promised that they will have shelter and they will get paid by the end of the season for working on the fields, plantations, crops, all of that, right? By the end of the season, they used them for everything that they could use them for while giving them the bare minimum, not even minimum wage, just shelter and food and maybe a few dollars a day. By the end of the season, they call immigration services. Immigration services come and get them. They detain them. They have to work while they're detained. These people are working for America while they're detained. After they ship them out from America, a lot of these times, they don't even ship them back to their country. Abrego Garcia just got sent to Africa. He was born in El Salvador. And not only that, they tried to get rid of not only due process, people can't even prove that they're citizens, but they were trying to get rid of birthright citizenship. These are all facts. This is not a conspiracy. This is not something that you can go against. These are facts. And until y'all wake up and stop trying to fight it, just shut the fuck up.
So I want to make some clarifications. Technically, the arrival of Christopher Columbus in the Americas in 1492 marks the beginning of modern history. The years before that, 1491 to 500 CE, include all of the recorded medieval histories. All of the years before that, 500 CE to 3000 BCE, include all of the recorded ancient histories. And the reason I say recorded is because it was specifically written down. Prior to the first civilization, which they claim was in Sumer, we didn't have written anything. And the first book that is massively published and produced, coincidentally, is the Gutenberg Bible in 1455. The claim that I'm making is that all of it is history and all of it is a lie. Because it's his story, not ours. And yes, modern history did happen because we can look back and have connections to it by way of our ancestors. But what I'm saying is, if we have no connection to it, it didn't happen. And the stuff that we do have a connection to, that we do know happened, didn't happen in the way that they tell us it happened. We were prisoners of war, not slaves, which means there was no transatlantic slave trade and we didn't come over here by boats. That's my point. Which is to say, we were never slaves. We were prisoners of war, which is a vastly different thing. So, think about that.
Africans sold Africans. I'm sure you've heard this at one point or another. I sure have.
Africans sold their own into slavery. I hate this comment so much and get it so often. So let's talk about why that statement is both heinous and disingenuous. First, if you read, you'd know that African systems of servitude were fundamentally different from what Europeans created. In many African societies at the time, enslavement was temporary, often results of war, debt, or crime, and people could marry, own property, and even regain freedom. That is nothing like the racialized, hereditary, and dehumanizing system of chattel slavery that Europeans built, a system where black people were treated as livestock, bred for labor, and tortured into submission. And even if Africans were involved in the trade, ask yourself, if someone sold you a person, what would you do? Would you chain them, beat them, rape them, force them to give birth to children you'd also enslave? Because that's what European enslavers did. Not just once, but systematically, by law and for profit. If it were me, I wouldn't buy them or I'd free them. I'd refuse to participate in the destruction of a human soul. But European colonizers didn't just accept the trade, they amplified it, scaled it, and legitimized it with laws, religion, and pseudoscience. So no, saying Africans sold their own isn't a history lesson. It's a deflection. It shifts blame away from the architects of one of the most brutal systems of oppression ever created. When you use that line to downplay or excuse what white enslavers did, you're not being objective. You're defending white supremacy. Whether you realize it or not, you're repeating a narrative designed to absolve the people who built, profited from, and protected the system of chattel slavery for generations.
I'm gonna toss y'all a little nugget. The Africans who sold our ancestors into the transatlantic slave trade were not the same people. That's how they knew to take your ancestors and sell them. They were not all the same people. Your ancestors were of the chosen people of the nation of Israel.
Imagine being so desperate to escape slavery that you jumped out of a third-story window, shattering your body but saving your soul. That was Ann Williams. In 1815, Ann Williams was trapped in a Washington, D.C. slave pen with her 3 children. The plan to ship them south to New Orleans, where families were torn apart and enslaved people faced even harsher conditions. Ann made a choice most people can't even imagine. She hurled herself out of that third-story window. The fall was brutal. Both her arms snapped. Her back broke. She lived, but she would never walk the same again. But here's what slavery didn't expect. Ann's leap didn't just save her from being sold away, it became a symbol. Abolitionist newspapers published an illustration of her shattered body, surrounded by her children. That image spread across the country, across the world, forcing people to confront the raw violence of slavery. Ann Williams became known as the woman who jumped. And even broken, she stood taller in history than the men who tried to own her. Her story is proof resistance has 1,000 faces. Some fight with swords, some with words. Ann fought with her body, and she made the world watch. Drop a heart emoji in the comments if you believe women like Ann Williams deserve to be remembered, not erased. And follow for more unstoppable women they forgot to tell us in schools.
Hi guys, welcome back once again to my YouTube channel. I really hope you're doing fine wherever you are. Okay guys, in this clip is all about how white folk, they are so furious at black people because of their success. We really know that white folks really thought that poverty was only meant for black people. But right now, during this hard time of economy, they have seen black excellency. And this is the reason why they say that black culture is also American culture. Why do I say this? When it comes to sports, fashions, look at the American music. It's all done by black people, and it's all famous. All of those famous celebrities, more of them are black people. And this is the thing that are really making us white folks to be furious, because they are saying that a lot of black folks, they are really doing better in life, and they really thought that poverty was only just meant for black people. So this is the reason why maybe these people are feeling bad whenever black people succeed. And they just want, whenever they perish, also black people to perish, because they really knew that black people are the ones who were just meant to go through difficult time. But one thing I really love about my black brothers is that during this harsh time of economy, we all know what's really happening right now in America. The cost of living has really risen up. This new administration isn't favoring anyone. Whether you are black, whether you are white, whether you are Latino, it doesn't favor everyone. Everyone is just going through a lot. And the thing that's really making the white folks to be so furious and mad about black success is that they're saying that black people ain't complaining about this new administration. Black people ain't complaining of how the cost of living has really risen up. And one thing I really love about my black brothers is that they have been through this, and black people, they really know how to thrive during hard times or during hard conditions. They know how to adapt and to fit in during these hard times, because you have all seen for a very long period of time a lot of white people that have been favored a lot by the government. Come to white farmers, they have been really favored a lot by the government. What about our black farmers? They were just left there to struggle on themselves, without loans, without anything, without any government assistance. But when it comes to white farmers, I've all seen how they've been given handouts, how they've been given loans, so that at least their farms can be better. But right now we are seeing who is just suffering. We've all seen how these people are really going through a lot. And the reason why is just because they voted out of hatred, they voted out of racism, they voted against their own interests, they voted to punish black people. And this is the reason why we have all seen how a lot of white farmers, they're really begging the government to bail them out. And these are the same people who really hated socialism. And our black brothers, they have just relaxed, because black people, one thing I really love about them is how they really have the strong faith in God. And this is the thing that it has really helped them to maneuver or to succeed. Because we have all seen how a lot of black people have really faced a lot of discrimination when they are living in these Western countries. Racism, anything that is bad, have been put upon our black community. And a lot of people have really came out and have really talked about this. They have been always, white folks have been always against black folks. And one thing is that black Americans will always rise. All the enemies that hate us shall become our footstool. Peace be still, peace be within. Our Father is stronger than our fears. Yeah, black people, they really have strong faith when it comes to God, and this is the reason why they are really doing better. They are really succeeding a lot to an extent whereby other people, they are just feeling jealousy of them. They are just feeling jealousy of their success. And this is the reason why they said the fear is the only weapon white folks they really have. They fear to see black people succeed. They really don't want competition from our black brothers. They just want to see black folks really struggling, going through a lot, lacking jobs. Whenever they go everywhere, they just want black people to be the ones that poverty really hits them hard. But in any sense, we have all seen how karma it has really changed. A lot of people in America, especially white folks, they are really going through a lot right now. This new administration has really teach them that racism is so expensive. This new administration does really teach them you should love your own brothers and sisters. You should not hate upon your own brothers. You should not vote to make other people suffer. And they say if you dig the hole, make sure that you won't fall into it. And this is the reason why these white folks, they are really saying the truth. They have started to waken up. They've started to open their eyes. And soon, they will really know that racism, it was so expensive. Another person really came out and said that we are told you have to work twice as hard to get something. We had to be self-sufficient if they took things away from us. We understand that we can't depend on the government to provide. They were told that they were naturally smarter, so they didn't have to work as hard. They got government handouts because of colonial history. But once all that is taken away, all things equal. This is what it looks like. Yeah. Now, black folks and white folks, they are now equal because the government or the system right now, it ain't favoring anyone. Another person really came out and told that this and a story from a black person. My mom told me, do everything with pride and dignity. When you walk away, they will see and know that you are there. Decades upon decades, all employers remember me. The black Americans that are out of control need to get it together. The folks will place you in one of the camps they build and continue to build. Remember, the prison are suing state because they aren't getting enough people. I say, stay out of the way. This is a really strong message from our black folks. So guys, be safe whenever you are, and this video is just for education purpose. All credits goes to the original creator of the video, and if it was for the first time you come across my video, don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share. Thank you so much for your time. May God bless you whenever you are. One love.